All right, guys, welcome to another edition of the Doodles Podcast. This one I'm answering all my patrons' questions. So if you'd like to have your question answered on a future podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Sailing Doodles. And basically, I printed off a list of all the questions. So I made made a post on there and asked people to give me the questions. So I've done that. We're going to start off with the titles of this here today is the top 5 spots in the BVI for a family destination. I'm assuming you're on a cruising boat cruising around. So we will start there. There's a lot of different places. The BVI is actually, it can be quite a party place, but you can also have a family-friendly stuff too. There's plenty of places there. One place I would say is over in Joost van Dyke. You have Great Harbor, and right next to that is White Bay. White Bay is where Soggy Dollar and all that is, and Ivan's, I believe. And then in Great Harbor which is right next to it, it's a short dinghy right over, is where Foxy's is, and there's a bunch of restaurants there. I would say the Great Harbor side over where Foxy's is would be a good spot to bring your kids because it's a fairly well-protected area. And the adults can maybe do some nightlife at Foxy's late night, but then there's lots of other restaurants that you can go to that are maybe a little more kid-friendly. I believe there's Corsairs, although when we were there a couple months ago, it wasn't open yet, but hopefully Corsairs is open again. We'll see. But it's a good spot there. I would recommend that. And then really, there's Cooper Island. There's the Cooper Island Resort that's pretty nice. It doesn't get too crazy. Some really good restaurants, and then it has a beach and everything there. Let's see here. So that's 2. And then, I would say Virgin Gorda right there at Sabre Rock. There is a little beach around the corner called... I forget the name of the spot, but you'd go right by it as you're pulling into the Virgin Gorda Bay there. So Sabre Rock's a good place for dinner, and also there is, if they ever get the Bitter End Yacht Club done, you could go there as well. But, and then they have moorings at all these places so far. And then, Norman Island, that's where Willie T's is. That's not necessarily a kid-friendly place, especially little kids. There are some people occasionally jumping nude off of there, but there is right next to that, there's the Pirates Bite restaurant and beach, which is pretty nice, and then there's a lot of really good snorkeling around there. So you can go over the Indians, or you can go to the caves and take the kids snorkeling right there, so that's a good spot as well. Let's see here, and then, Cane Garden Bay, that's one of my favorite spots. It has a really nice beach, and there's lots of good restaurants and stuff there, so you can check that out. So that's the top 5 places I'd say would be family-friendly in the BVI. I mean, that's kind of just the top 5 places in the BVI. But all right, so that was from John Malenfant. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, from Sean Eric, what does your video editing workflow look like, and has it changed much going with more frequent releases? And imagine the dark side, it gets easier since I have AC power running all the time, but how do you archive footage when you don't have power? Sure. So I'm actually going to share my screen with you here and show you some of this. So I will share my screen. There we go. All right, so this is all the footage I have here. Basically, I break everything down by day. So, obviously, I've already got footage from 2022, so starting at January 3rd, and I've broken it down by day, all the footage. And then here's the old footage from last year that I still haven't just kind of cleaned out from November. And then I can show you, so that's all, every day's footage is in its own folder. And then if I go into that folder, I've got all the footage broken down into more subfolders. Like the first folder is 01A getting moving, 01B drone at the same time. So I'm filming us getting off the mooring and I'm flying the drone at the same time. So 01A, 01B, and then the next folder would be 02 underway. So I can click on that, and that's just all of us talking underway and doing all these things. And then there's sailing B-roll, drone underway, all this. And then I make a little moving map, and this is a question later on from Maxime Pro. I don't know how you say that. From Maxime. Basically, so I do a screenshot on Google Earth, and I take that, and then I have this little program that I run in After Effects that will make this. I have to program it, so I have to do all this, but it makes it pretty easy to create the animation for that. And then I upload all of this to Dropbox. So wait, I'm gonna pull my screen back here to see if okay, good, I'm back. So I upload all of that to Dropbox, and so that can be a little time consuming and hard to find internet. So I've done it before where I've had to get an Airbnb just to leave my computer hooked up to the Wi-Fi uploading, because I mean sometimes we're talking couple 400 gigabytes. I've had that happen where I've had to upload 400 gigabytes, and sometimes I've even mailed, FedExed a SD card with a couple hundred gigs worth of footage on there to my mother, who has. It was actually quite difficult to talk her through how to upload all that, but I now have somebody else I think that can do that. So that's kind of my workflow and all that. So there you go. So I have it all organized in the footage, and then of course then when I start editing, it's all in one section there. But and it just takes me a while to get all that done. But that's kind of the way it goes. When can you tell us about the new cat? That's from Schmoops, Eric and Jen. Smooch Adventures. So I don't know yet. I thought I'd be able to tell you by now. It is a 53 foot. I have put a deposit down on it. And for those of you guessing, you probably are right which model, but I can't say it yet just because I want to make one big announcement when it happens. And so wanted to know what about it. So it is 53 feet. Offhand, I don't. 52 and a half. Offhand, I don't know the beam. I'd have to look it up. But I like a lot of the features on it. So the older style cats, and the reason you had the trampoline up front is mostly to save weight, right? Because you don't want that much weight on the bow. Now the Bali cats have started doing away with the trampoline altogether, and then you're seeing catamarans move that trampoline smaller and smaller as it gets forward, they move the trampoline more forward and the trampoline is much smaller. That's kind of the case on this. The trampoline would be maybe 2/3 the size of your standard, regular catamaran, and because of that, it has a seating area up there, like proper seating area with a table, and it does have a door walking through from that seating area into the salon, which is really nice. And then it has a pretty well open aft area. And then it does have a whole flybridge area. So it's got the helm is raised on its own flybridge, and there's a bunch of seating around that flybridge. And then above that is a hard top where the solar goes. It will have twin electric motors and a really big generator. So, and then of course lithium and a lot of solar. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be a pretty cool boat. Something that not many people have going yet is kind of the hybrid electric. I know those are on the way, but some, they just haven't been out yet. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see here. So Matt Schran, what are your best memories since you started Sailing Adventure? What is your upcoming 5-year plan? Well, I mean, I loved going through the South Pacific. That was really cool. We went way too fast. I'd love to get back to French Polynesia, Fiji, and Vanuatu. Specifically, there was one time in Vanuatu where we we were just hanging out on the beach, and this guy from a local village invited us to his village. There was only like 5 people in the village, and we had dinner with them, and it was great. They didn't speak English, we didn't speak their language, but we had a good time. So it was pretty cool. And then you're only going to experience stuff like that in the South Pacific because it's just kind of remote. I had some good times down in Mexico and La Paz and all that. Really enjoyed it there. Of course, the Caribbean. I mean, you can't beat it. But I'm really looking forward to getting back in the South Pacific. And so the next 5 years, the catamaran won't be ready until next spring or early summer. So basically, I'm going to bring the dark side back to the United States sometime in June. And at that point, I'll let it be known that I am going to sell it because I have to sell it to pay for a lot of the new boat. Basically it kind of depends at that point. If somebody makes me an offer I can't refuse on it, they can have it right then in June. If not, I will sail it up to the Northeast and kind of go in the New England area up into Newport or Block Island, Chesapeake up there in Long Island Sound, and maybe up Martha's Vineyard, all that stuff. And then, but then by the fall I definitely do need to sell it, so I'd probably bring it back down to Florida where I think it would be easiest to sell. So if anybody's interested, you can get in touch with me. I think there was an identical boat to this 1 year older that sold for $298, but when I say identical, same model, 1 year older. But this one's been modified. This one has the aft cockpit edition, so it was extended by 8 feet, which also gave it another 300 gallons of fuel, another 100 gallons of water, and the stern generator. So it has 2 generators on this boat. So, I mean, I think that's pretty valuable. So I'd probably ask around $350 for this, hopefully. So we'll see how that goes. And then after that, honestly, don't know. What are your plans for the next few months in terms of location? Well, I kind of mentioned that. Just the next couple months, and that's from SC Southern. So the next couple months, we are leaving tomorrow, or Sunday rather, to go to the Dominican Republic. We'll spend 10 days there, and then we will haul butt up to Georgetown in the Exumas, check in there, and then move up the Exumas and end up in the Abacos by around April 19th or 20th, because on the 21st we are flying to Athens, Greece, where we are getting on Oceana 62 and going to go sail that around for 2 weeks in Greece. So that should be a lot of fun. Then back to the boat in the Abacos. We'll cruise around the Abacos for the rest of May, and then sometime in June head over to Florida and then start heading north or whatever. So let's see here. James Donner, what is the biggest adjustment between navigation, sailing, and a motor yacht and piloting an aircraft? I guess speed. That's about it. Basically navigation is pretty similar between flying and sailing. It's just, you're going 1% the speed while you're at on a boat. Other than that, it's pretty similar though. K-Dog asks, are you and Steph a couple? We are dating. So, yeah. Let's see here. Maxime, again. How do you manage to create boat trajectory animation? Do you use a special software for it? So basically I take 3 screenshots on Google Earth. One of the departure area, one of kind of the whole area that the boat's going to travel, and then one of the arrival area. And then there's this program through it's a script through Adobe After Effects, and it took me a little while to learn it, but now I'm pretty good. I can pop one out in 5 minutes, so it's not too hard anymore. Let's see here. Dave Allen, with all the girls on board all the time and not much space, is there any drama? Not really. No. Sorry. I was looking at the wrong one. Sorry. Not really. No. I mean, not really. So it's been pretty nice. There have been drama at times, but not recently, mostly. So, Kevin asked, do I ever talk to Laura anymore? No. Well, occasional email, because I'm still paying her. So I think I'll have that all finished later this year. Anyway, OC at the Anchorages, there are a lot of catamarans. Are the majority rental or private? In the BVI, definitely rental. I'd say, probably half the cats you see down here in the Caribbean are rentals. That's probably a little different in the Bahamas. Most of the cats you see are privately owned, but down here, they're almost all, they're majority rentals. Fleming, Bobby, are you happy? Yeah, pretty happy, man. This is kind of hard to beat this life, Stephen Rolls, wondering why y'all can snorkel in a swimsuit bikini, but scuba requires a wetsuit. Generally, it's because in scuba diving, you're going deeper and you're down there longer. You're fully submersed for 45 minutes to an hour, and the water, as deeper you go, is colder, so that's why it's colder. The water is actually fairly cool right now. Like when we were here in November, the water was perfect. It was like 84 degrees. It was awesome. Loved it. Now the water temperature is like 78, 76, which is a little chilly, but it's warming up. It's getting warmer almost every day now, so in the next month or two, it'll really warm up. Adrian asks, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years? In 5 to 10, I have no idea, honestly. In the next 5 years, I can tell you, like, cruising the South Pacific and the new Cat over to the Mediterranean, all these places. And it looks like when I get delivery of the Cat, they're going to want to put it in the Annapolis Boat Show and then the other boat shows fall of 23. So I'll definitely be doing that in the fall of 23. Then I will head south. I will not go to the Caribbean. I'll go across the Gulf of Mexico to Mexico, down Central America through the canal, and then parts west. But 5 to 10, I have no idea. Brian Gordon, I've been watching your videos since the beginning with Stephanie. Since the beginning. Will Stephanie be staying with you for a while like Laura and Taylor? Stephanie is so cute and fun. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the plan for now. For sure. Uh-oh, Bucky's crying. I don't know if you can hear that. The girls just left to go to the beach, and they're not, because they're kind of going to a further beach, so they're not taking them with them. So he's crying a little. Let's see here. Mike, did you ever find a person to take over Glamping Doodles? No, I have not. Kind of my plan is to start filming again for that in July and August. I'll be going to Burning Man again this year. I just bought my tickets yesterday. So July, August, into September, I plan to film the glamping stuff. And then at that point, yeah, I'd like to pass it on to somebody else because I just don't have time to film for both. Because just about the time I get the momentum going on that channel again, because I took a 5 or 6 month hiatus last time while I was filming for Sailing Doodles. Then when he's crying at the door. All right, so I went and got Bucky here. Maybe he'll be a little less lonely. He likes to hang out in the cockpit out there, but when the girls leave, he gets a little upset. So yeah, I'd like to find somebody to take over for Glamping Doodles eventually. Let's see if the other camera gets a shot up. No, it doesn't, but here he is. What's up? Let's see. Mike Prevost again. Have you ever had any problems with any crew members or yourself getting access to an area like visa or passport issues? Well, we're having that right now. It's a messed up thing. I kind of understand why, but so the problem is Europeans can come to the United States, no problem, but they need an ESTA. I don't know what that stands for, but it's basically like a visa, but not really. You just apply online, pay. I don't even think you pay anything, maybe $10-15, and then you're allowed to come in. But that's only good on commercial vessels, airplanes, ferries, something like that. It is not good on a private vessel. So you do need an actual visa if you want to come on a private vessel, which is a pain because especially right now, it's really hard to get a visa. So what happens generally is, say we were going to the USVI, we would go to the BVI first, check in, and then we would get her, what are you doing? And then we would get her on the ferry from the BVI to the USVI, because that's a commercial boat, and then we would just take our boat over there and pick her up, and then we're in the United States, we're good to go. We have, also on our boat right now, you want to get down? We have an Argentinian, and she needs a visa no matter what. Okay. So she needs a visa no matter what. So we would love to go to Puerto Rico and do the south coast of Puerto Rico on our way to the DR, but we can't because of that. We do have for her an appointment in the Bahamas with the consulate there to get. Okay, Bucky, stop it. Hey, stop. We have an appointment there at the end of March for her to get a visa to the U.S. So there can be problems there. ZK, are you still using the Garmin map share where we can follow your trips? You know what? I'll go to the marine store this afternoon and see if I can find a new one. I had one on the boat. It has disappeared. I think it maybe fell off the boat or something. I don't know. So, but I plan on doing that. I'll make a post to patrons because it's just for patrons. So when I get that done, I will post it on Patreon. Where did G go? She is back in Mallorca. She got a job on a private airline, I believe, as a flight attendant. So I think she's pretty happy over there. Kenneth A. Floyd, when cruising non-English speaking countries, Puerto Rico, Thailand, how hard are the communications, specifically radio comms? Nobody uses radios. Really, in Thailand, forget it. Nobody's listening. I mean, maybe the Coast Guard, if you're in the area, they're listening, but marinas, they don't have the radio on. And Puerto Rico, all the marina people speak English, so that's not too bad. Down here in the Caribbean, it's either French or English, but most of the marina operators still speak English, so it's not too hard. So it's really not too hard here. It's really not, and it's kind of the. I mean, I don't know if it's exactly the same, but like In aviation, the international language is English, which is kind of nice for English speakers. We don't have to learn like French or German. Roger Cox, is there a useful comparison of the Caribbean area and the South Seas area of the globe? Particularly of interest will be cost, safety of the crew members on the boat from storms and pirates. I know that pirates exist in the Caribbean, but there are a significant factor of sailing experience. The ability to anchor safely during storms is a primary example of sailing. The ability to avoid pirates is another of those critical areas. For example, the Gulf of Aden is a no-go zone for sailing. Yeah, I mean, there are pirates down in the Caribbean, but not in anywhere. I mean, like off the coast of Venezuela. I mean, not anywhere around St. Martin or St. Bart's or St. Lucia or, in the Grenadines. There's not any pirates there, so you don't have to worry about that there. I mean, obviously, you get over in the Gulf of Aden, yes, or some places around the Philippines. So I'm not really too worried about pirates. Just avoid those areas. I don't sail in them. As far as safety, plan ahead. We've been waiting here an extra week for weather, right? Because we have a good weather window, we think, on Sunday. I wanted to leave last Monday, but the weather's been crappy for a week. Well, it's not been crappy. It's been nice weather. It's just been really windy. So it's just plan ahead. And, you're not going to... That's kind of the thing about the Caribbean is that your average sail is going to be 60 miles. So, I don't know if you guys can hear Bucky crying in the background, but he is upset that the girls left. Costs and all that in the southern areas, in Latin America, it's definitely cheaper. It's not as safe in some places, like Venezuela and all that, but, it's cheaper. And in Asia, it's a lot cheaper. So, all right, Traveling Ag asks, is the tradition of topless jumps at Willie T's still a thing? I didn't see that when we were there. I don't think it's as common now. I think now because everybody has cell phones, or cameras in their pocket at all times, it's not as common, right? Nobody wants to be filmed when they're not knowing it, jumping off Willie T's, and then it makes it on the internet and goes viral. I didn't see it when I was there. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It probably happens more often at night now than it does, during the day. But yeah, it's not as much of a thing. All right, let's see here. Mart Kaskula, is the Mongol Rally still going? Route selection is getting a bit more challenging. I'm not going to do it. So the Mongol Rally, which I was planning to do, leaves from London and it goes to Mongolia, and you have to go through basically Russia, and a lot of routes go through Ukraine and all that. So no, I'm not doing that this year. Kind of sucks. I don't know when it will happen again, but we'll see how things turn out. But I'm not going to go. Jason Colbreth, any chance we could get you to do an editing tutorial, specifically how you slice up and combine and store material from the different cameras? I mean, I kind of went over that a little bit in this video. Maybe I could do more of a thing, but I'd probably just do it for patrons. I don't think most viewers would be too interested in that. So, yeah. Brian Beverly, did Steph pay off her bowling bet? Don't need you to film it, just curious. Not yet. We need her to do that. Maybe we'll have her do that this week. Because what we're going to do is we're going to sail from here to off the coast of Puerto Rico. We can't actually check into Puerto Rico, so we can't go ashore or anything. So we are going to go 18 or so hours from here Sunday to an island off the south coast of Puerto Rico that's uninhabited, and we're going to anchor there to rest overnight, and then the next day we'll get up and continue. So maybe when we get there we'll have her jump off the top deck or something. But yeah, so she lost a bowling bet and she has to jump topless or naked? Was it naked? I think naked off the top that thing. And she's afraid of heights. She really doesn't even like doing it clothed, so we'll see. William Resch, Bobby, maybe I'm overly anxious, but if I were cruising, I think I would have some serious angst trepidation leaving my boat anchored and moored unattended in the big blue ocean. Does it ever cross your mind that your boat could somehow snap a line or come unanchored, unmoored, and you would dinghy back to nothing, at least on an island or on an inland lake, and on Ohio it can only go so far? Thanks in advance. I mean, sure, it can be a concern. the anchor situation I have is pretty good. So I'm not too worried about it. I got the Mantis anchor on there. That's a really big, beefy anchor. I've got 3/8" chain, which is really nice chain. And then I've got the big Mantis bridle. I'm not really worried about the anchor. I mean, you can drag, I guess, but you're not going to drag too far, hopefully, and nothing's behind you to drag into. Moorings is maybe a bit more of an issue. They're a lot easier to catch than anchoring, and they're faster. But, that's why you should always snorkel on the mooring to check it out. I mean, look and see how the connections are. Are they really old and rusty, or are they in good shape? So it's always kind of important to, especially if you're going to be there any significant amount of time or in any kind of significant weather, dive on your mooring and check it out. But I mean, that's what insurance is for. You can't, if you're worried about that all the time, you'd never enjoy any time on land, and you'd always be worried about it. So yeah, I mean, you gotta not worry too much. Christopher Justice, have you ever sailed to the Southern Caribbean, Barbados, St. Lucia, Grenada? I have done Grenada. No, not Grenada. I have done St. Kitts in the Grenadines. I was kind of planning on doing that this year, but stuff happens, COVID and all that crap. So no, eventually I will, but it could be a long time. So I'm not sure. Scott Slutter, what is your favorite beer and mixed drink of choice? Most Caribbean pirates are for rum, but it seems like y'all like yourself some tequila. Yeah, I'm not much of a rum guy. I'm more of a brown drink guy. A little bourbon, a little bit of ice or something like that. I don't drink too many cocktails. I mean, if I go to a cocktail lately, it's been like a gin and not gin and tonic, like a Moscow Mule or a gin and ginger with a splash of lime. That's kind of what my drink lately. It's kind of the gin drinks. Beer, whatever's available. I mean, I don't really like the hoppy beers. I kind of like the light beers just because, I can have a couple of the IPAs and then I'm like, I can't drink that anymore. Whereas I can drink a light beer all day long, So, let's see here. Kevin Smith, I have some interest in possibly purchasing a boat and putting it into a charter program. I'm worried about getting scammed. I imagine insurance is quite a bit higher. Is it like having a condo and a nightly rental program? I wanted to use a boat while I would have if I wanted to use a boat, would I have to block off that time? Okay, good question for what I got going on now. So I've kind of partnered with Navigar. Navigar is a yacht charter and management company. So you can navigaryachting.com. And I believe if you use the code Doodles at checkout, you get $300 off your charter. So you can check them out. But kind of the way that works is you can purchase a boat with them, and they have 15 bases around the world and like 400 boats. So they're a pretty well-known company. I feel they're a good, trustworthy company. I wouldn't feel about getting scammed with that. And they do actually take care of their boats and maintenance. I'm not going to say other names of charter companies. I'm just not going to. But a couple of them have reputations of not taking care of their boats. The way that works is, say you put 20% down on your boat. So, I don't know. Say it's a say just for math's sake, we'll say it's a $500,000 boat. You put $100,000 down, and then your guaranteed income, there's two ways you can do it with them. You can either take their guaranteed income program where, I don't know exactly what their income is, but ideally I think it should pay for the note. Like, so say, your note is $5,000 a month on that boat. They're going to guarantee you $5,000 a month in income. So you put the 20% down. With the guaranteed income deal, that's kind of the whole goal. Is supposed to pay for itself, and then you get like 6 weeks a year on the boat to use. I think you get, and they have it broken up into different ways. Like they give you points, right? So if you want to use your boat in the high season, you get, I don't know, say you get, I don't know, just for, we'll call it points. You get 10 points, right? So now it's going to be more than that. I mean, if you get 6 weeks a year on a boat, you're at 42. When is my 40? Yeah. Anyway, you get, I don't know, you get so many points, and then it's 1-to-1, like if you want to use it in the high season. So you want to go for a week, you use 7 of your points, and you get the boat for a week in the high season. Now, if you want to do it in the low season when the boats aren't used as much, you can get it double points, right? So you can get 14 days for those 7 points or something like that. So you can use it how you want it. You get a guaranteed income, you get guaranteed usage of the boat, and you don't have to use just your boat. I mean, they have 12, 15 destinations around the world. They have one in Greece. We're going to Greece in 6 weeks to get on one of their boats. They have one in the BVI. They have one in the Bahamas. They have a bunch in the Med. They have some in Switzerland and stuff like that. So that's the guaranteed income. The downside of that is that you're not really running it as a business, so you will take the depreciation hit, but ideally you're not paying full price for the boat, right? But if you do it a different way where you don't, and I think that's what it was. I think they guarantee for that like 9% a year, so 9% of the value of the boat per year. So if the value of the boat was, $500,000, you're getting $4,500 guaranteed income for that year, which hopefully would pay your note for the year, I guess. Now then, if you don't do the guaranteed income, so it's not guaranteed if something like COVID happens or whatever. I mean, you're kind of screwed, right? But they average 12% return, so you get a little bit more. So instead of $50,000 or $45,000 a year, they're getting $60,000 a year. And here's the real kicker. This is why. It's because technically at that point you're running it as a business. So then you get the tax write-off of the depreciation. You can roll that into if you already own your own business or something like that. You can, or I guess you can. They're smarter about it than I am, but you can write off the depreciation of the boat, and so that $60,000 you're earning a year, well, you can say, well, it depreciated $60,000 that year, so I'm not paying any income on that $60,000 a year. Whereas I guess the other one you might be paying income tax on it. So I don't know. But Navigar Yachting, tell them the Doodles sent you, please, because that kind of helps us with our relationship. They were really happy. We did a trip with them in the BVI. They were really happy about it. That's why they invited us back. We're going to one of their boats at the end of April in Greece for 2 weeks. So we're looking forward to that. OC, with all the unfortunate world events, are you still going to do the Mongol Rally? No, kind of addressed that one earlier. So let's see here. And final question, Jeff Peterson, did you ever consider making a crew training video? Would be handy when bringing on new crew on board who do not need 0 to hero. Well, for crew that come on board this, I give them complimentary access to 0 to hero. I mean, I can look into it to see if I can split the course up into just a crew course and maybe make it a little bit less expensive, but I'll look into it, so thanks. But, I wanted to say thanks to a few of you patrons here. Did I not have it up anymore? Oh, here it is. So I want to give a shout out to our top tier patrons. Thank you so much. Jack McDevitt has been a patron for a very long time, since 2017. So thank you so much. Appreciate you. Mike McGinnis since 2020. Thank you as well. And then Jerry and Terry Nolan have been since 2020, and you guys are awesome. John Watkins, Ken Ham, Gary Doyle, Matt Brown of MJ Brown Construction, Laura Brown, and Giuseppe Mette, Donald Eastwood, David Grimsley. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being patrons. You guys are awesome. But, all right. Please click the subscribe button to this, and, we'll see you on the next one. The next podcast, I'm interviewing them this afternoon. It is a family of 4. They have a, I think, 14-year-old and a 9-year-old, and they've been cruising. So we're going to see how they do with the family. But thank you guys for tuning in.